The garden has come a long way since the last time that you saw it, so I thought today would be a great time to do an updated tour. Okay, so first let me say, I cannot even tell you how excited I am. And if you've been watching my daily vlogs that I do with my husband, then you've kind of been seeing this come together, and you know that I'm a little bit crazy about this garden. It's everything that I was hoping it would be, and I'm just getting so excited for where it's gonna go. So I'll go ahead and take you through the rows and show you everything that we did. So I guess first we'll start with just a little overview. So you can see we've got our little beds outlined with the timbers, and we've got all the paths mulched, and all the beds have been mulched with either leaves or wood chips. So that's kind of what it all looks like. We still have some things out here in the path, extra plants that we have left over, and also a couple more things that I'm just waiting a little bit longer to put in the ground, but pretty much all the beds are done. So we'll start over here and work our way through. Okay, so this bed is pretty bare. This is an herb bed. The herb beds got a little bit neglected just because they weren't the biggest priority for me on my list of getting things done, but I think they're still gonna be great. So right here I seeded in some garlic chives. It's a little late for that, but this side of the garden does get quite a bit of shade, so I'm hoping they'll be okay. If not, we're just gonna see what happens. We've also got catnip over here, so you can see this is getting some nice fresh growth since we put it in. There's another smaller one over here hiding in the leaves, but it's doing its thing. And then move on to the next bed. We kind of have a similar thing going on. So this is another thing of chives, so garlic chives and regular chives here. Then over here we've got a few small rosemary plants going. They're little bitty babies right now, but I'm hoping that they will, you know, take off and get nice and big. And then if we come over to this side, we've got lemon balm in here. It's looking a little sad because it really needed to be transplanted much sooner than I did it. But you know, it looks like it's taking, so that should be really fun to have in the garden too. And then sage is down here, including this one that I found that had volunteered in the garden. Some parts of it doesn't look like it loved the transplant process, but other parts are doing fine. So I think this will take off, and it'll be okay once it gets used to its new home. Continuing back, this is the lettuce bed. Now this bed was supposed to be all lettuces, but we had a little thing happen. So down here is Mizuna, which is like an Asian green, and you can see I can already start taking off some of these. This is doing really well. We got 2 rows of that. Then we've got a lettuce here. This is a loose leaf that's really come up and done well. And this one, it hasn't done as well, but a few have come up. The rest over here didn't come up at all. So instead I put in extra tomatoes and extra peppers. That's the thing, I do have a garden plan that I go by, and if you saw my first garden video for this season where I talked about that, all that stuff is linked there and you can check it out. But things do change. That's kind of just the beginning of what I'm planning to do, but based on what happens, you know, we make adjustments, or if we have extra of one plant and less of another than we planned, stuff like that. So it's pretty much according to the plan, but there are a few adjustments like this. So we've got tomatoes in here, peppers in here, and I think they'll do okay here. This side of the garden, like I said, does get a little more shade, so we'll see what happens, but they're extra stuff anyways from what we were planning, so it's kind of just an extra bonus if they do well. If they don't do great, it's not such a big deal. This bed has ground cherries, which you can see are spaced like really far apart, but according to the garden planner, they need even more space. And there are little things that are kind of like a tomatillo, like they have a husk, but they're small. It's supposed to taste like pineapple. I don't know, we'll see how they do. And then this bed over here doesn't have anything growing right now, but we have seeded some zinnias in the back there, and then some string beans up here. Coming over to the next row, we have a few things going on. We've got some peppers in here. These are some sweet peppers. We have seeded some sunflowers in the back, so hopefully they'll be coming up soon, as well as some other flowers. And then in here, a zucchini plant will go when that is ready to go in. I'm trying to hold off on those because I've got some flowers planted here that are supposed to help keep the bugs away that killed our squash plants last year. So I'm gonna wait for those to come up a little bit before I put the squash plants in. And that's actually the situation in several of these beds. So this bed right here, same story, peppers, and then flowers, and then the squash is gonna go there. This bed, same thing, except in this one, we have our snap peas, which are growing crazy. So I seeded these right here around these tomato cages, and they have gone crazy. Like, I mean, I feel like I come out here every day, and especially the past week, they're just growing at such a huge rate. Now, we don't have any flowers yet, so I don't know how long it will be before the flowers come and we actually have snap peas. It's the first time we've ever grown them, but I'm really excited because I think they're going to be something that's going to be a really nice little veggie snack, but we can cook them too. And yeah, so I'm really excited to see how these do and see what happens with them because they are something new for us. So then the front 2 beds on this row, nothing really that exciting going on right now because we have 3 purple tomatillos and 3 green tomatillos, but they're just little itty bitty baby things. So they're tiny right now, but once they get full size, they should just take over the whole beds. And those are really fun. We like those, especially make like tomatillo salsa, super good. Okay, so this bed has some melons here in the front. We've got tomatoes in here. And then this bed behind it is the exact same thing, just different tomatoes, different melons. And then if we come back here, we have more tomatoes. Can you tell I like tomatoes? And then we have 3 kinds of basil. This is the Italian basil. This is the globe basil, which is supposed to look kind of shrubby. And you can see how it's kind of growing out. That's new. I've never done that before. And then here is some Thai basil, which smells amazing, and we love using that. This next bed is another pepper and then squash bed, and then we've got the flowers around here that are supposed to keep the squash bugs away. I don't know like when those flowers should come up. It should be soon. It said the shortest germination time was 5 days, and we're kind of getting right around there, so I'm hoping we'll see them come up soon, but I don't really know because I've never grown those before either. But then if we come back to this back bed, this is where we're getting into cucumbers. So we've got all kinds of cucumber plants around here. These were also in desperate need of being transplanted, but you can see that they are taking and getting some growth on the top. So those look really nice. What is that on there? Is that some sort of slug? Okay, I've never had that before. We're gonna have to investigate that, but not right now. Okay, so then we've got some different, these are gonna be flowers too. They're all across the front. More cucumbers, and then we've got, wait 1 second. Some of those flowers are back there, and I think I see one that's come up. Oh yeah, I think that is one of our little guys. Okay, that's awesome. So that means we need to be on the lookout for more of these. Oh, look, you can see that little bend right there? That's one that's coming up. Okay, so they are coming up. That's good. So now I know that we'll at least have some of them, and I didn't totally screw them up. So that's good to know. So we'll have to keep our eyes out for those. This slug thing, I think that's what it is. That's still bothering me. Well, you know, it's all a process. Once you solve one problem, you have another one you have to figure out. It's just part of doing this. Okay, so next bed over, same sort of thing as the last one. So we'll go through it quickly. More cucumbers, more of those flowers planted back on the back side. See if any of these guys are coming. Oh, look, there's one right there. Okay, oh, and there's another one coming right there. Super cool. This right here is another type of cucumber that's growing. We've got a few of these plants. They're called a Mexican sour gherkin, and they look like itty bitty baby watermelons, and they're supposed to taste sour, kind of like they're pickled or something, which is cool and interesting. So I'm just growing a few of those for fun. Okay, next bed. Here, more tomatoes. We've got a nice little tomato row here. Now, we are having a little bit of a situation down here. This is a plant, when I put it in, its stem got damaged, but I went ahead and left it to see what would happen. It looks pretty sad. So I don't know if it's gonna take or not, but I do have a backup plant here in case I decide I want to replace it, so we'll be okay. I just gotta kind of make a decision on this guy. And then we've got more peppers. Very small plants now, but they'll get bigger. Looks like this one had a rough time of it. I don't know what happened there. Might have to replace him. And then we have got some string beans planted in this little section right here. Moving on to the bed in front of that, it's kind of the same thing. Lots more tomatoes, but between these tomatoes, I've planted some pole beans. So the plan is to string, once these, you know, start to come out, to string some twine between like this cage and this cage and go back and forth like that and use that kind of like a little trellis for them. And that's the same thing on this whole bed. So we've got a tomato, and then that space. And if you do want to see how to make these cages, we love them. They're super durable, way better than anything you can get in the store. Make them out of concrete wire. So I will link the video because I have a tutorial from last year on how to make them. So if you want to see how to do that, They're awesome. Totally recommend it. So I'll have that video for you. More beans and stuff, you know, are gonna be going between these two cages. And then if we come around the front, some flowers in here that aren't flowers yet, obviously. Another tomato. This is a type that is what's called determinate, which means it doesn't produce all season. It'll produce once and then basically stop, so it doesn't need a cage. And then, you know, we've got more peppers because you can't have too many peppers. Moving across to this bed, same thing as the last one, so we don't need to get into that. It's the same situation, just different tomatoes, and we have more of those determinate type here in the front instead of peppers. And then we'll walk across to this bed and same story, more peppers up in the front of that, as well as sunflowers. So that's kind of the quick overview of everything that we have in the ground. So I'm getting really excited because, you know, now we're at a spot. It took so much time to get this setup done, just the initial investment of time, and also just getting all the plants in always is a bit of an effort. But now that they're all in, you know, we're at a spot now where it's going to be mostly just maintenance, harvesting, keeping stuff on track, but not a lot of actual planting or anything like that needs to happen. I will show you the zucchini and stuff that we have because I haven't put those in quite yet because, like I said, I'm waiting. So we've got some yellow squash here, and then these zucchini plants, which are all looking great. I think they need a little water, but we don't have any squash bugs coming after them yet, so that's a good thing, and I'm happy for that. But other than that, yeah, I'm getting so excited about this thing, super pumped. I'm gonna continue to do little updates as we go through the season, so you'll be able to see everything grow and see the harvest and stuff we're getting. Also, make sure you're following me on Instagram if you're not, because I will post pictures of harvest and stuff there, and follow the vlogs if you wanna see more more updates as it's going, rather than just these few ones that I'm going to do on this channel. So if you're super into it, that'd be a good place to come hang out with us. But yeah, so I hope you liked this tour of the garden and seeing everything that we've got going. I'm so excited for it. Let me know in the comments how your gardens and planter boxes and windowsill setups and everything that you're doing is going at your house, because I would love to hear about that. And also, if you are new to my channel, welcome. Make sure that you subscribe if you want more garden tours, but also healthy eating tips, nutrition info, healthy recipes, all that kind of stuff. And if you're loving the free info on my channel, but you need more personalized nutrition advice, then don't forget that I do offer one-on-one nutrition sessions. So if you want to work with me, just let me know and we can get that set up for you. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.